All right, great to have Bruce Lisman, a Republican candidate for governor, with us. And Bruce, in recent days, there has been a lot of discussion about budgeting and how much is too much, how much is enough, and how much should there be. What do you come down on all of this?
First, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it and happy to see you and be right here in Brattleboro. Here's an interesting thing. We have been growing our budget expenditures by 5% or more for 5 years. The economy has been growing at a rate no better than 2%. We've used every conceivable methodology to balance a budget, and the net outcome is that we've raised taxes, we've raised property taxes, fees and surcharges that amount to about $640 million in 5 years. That is a huge increase. The problem is that we don't have a lot to show for all that spending. I don't think the state of the state is that much better, that we couldn't have found both different and better ways of spending our money. I think it's too early to say exactly what the governor has presented. I know what he said, but oftentimes that's at odds with the real numbers, and so my guess is higher than he said. And the distractions of marijuana legalization or the state dog or the state vegetable are merely taking our eyes off what the budget will look like. And you know what I can tell you is the surprise, it'll be a surprise if they don't raise taxes, fees, and surcharges this year in the last few days of the legislative session, and there won't be a press conference to announce it. So there you go.
So what should the spending level be, and how would you get there?
I think the spending level should be closer to the rate of growth of our economy, and we should do that for, say, 3 years. And at the same time, the next administration, hopefully mine, if elected, would have gifted managers who, like the people they would manage, can provide leadership and also can be certain that we can generate, 1.5% or 2% worth of savings without impacting the level of service to those who need them. I think any organization is capable of doing better, but particularly an organization that doesn't measure itself or its level of success versus goals. So if we do that, so Tim, I think we could maintain our level of service, but recharge our ability to invest in big projects.
Do you have some documented experience where you have cut budgets like that in your own organizations over the years?
Don't forget, we're talking about slowing the rate of growth. This is not cutting the budget. This isn't taking programs that people need and depend upon away from them. What we propose is to merely slow the rate of growth. So instead of 5%, we're talking about really 2%. And the reality is that and with savings, the reality is that the change in the nature of the programs, the absolute, it isn't there. We're just talking about a rate of growth.
But have you done it in your own organization?
Oh, for gosh sakes, yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't answer the darn question. Gee whiz, I'm glad you're here to remind me. Yes, of course I have, because business cycles, economic cycles, go up and then they go down and go back up again. And you have to be flexible. You also have to have a sense that there's always the unexpected, both good and bad, and you have to ignore what seems like an environment that could last forever or feels like it's going to last forever. It's about to change. Of course I have. And I've had experience overseeing the building of small and large technology projects, which are expensive. I've had experience in both good and bad cycles. And the truth is you have to manage your way through that.
Now, I noticed that you said, of course, the economy and budgets are job one. Would there be room for things like a state vegetable, especially if you were standing not too far away from us now in Wardsboro and talking to those same elementary students who brought the issue up?
Yeah. So these are not unimportant things. But it's also important that we distinguish the true business of our legislature and our governor. It isn't merely the budget itself, in fact. Having a budget that makes sense is really important, but it means a lot for all of us who pay taxes or all of us who are in programs and receive needed care or needed help. Saying the budget is a centerpiece of what we're going to do and hope to become. I imagine a stronger economy, not just centered in Chittenden County, but in the counties that aren't near Chittenden counties, who have suffered both population loss and some erosion of their main commercial centers. And so when I talk about the budget, those are dollars and cents. It's a dry subject. It's something bigger, though. We want to slow the rate of growth so we don't raise taxes, fees, and surcharges. So the value of having a state vegetable or the value of having a state dog or any of those other things aren't unimportant, but shouldn't get in the way of a discussion that should have already started by now about what the budget's going to look like.
So you are saying that there is room in government for discussion of these things, but the priorities have to be in order.
That's right. And so we don't want to pretend that this notion of how to balance a budget isn't of vital importance, because we know it has broader implications. There's plenty of room for all those other things. I might add, though, while we're choosing a vegetable, or maybe next year it's going to be the state dog or something else, we have the opportunity to discuss, well, how well are we doing? We have all these programs we introduce. How well are they performing? What are our expectations? What is success looking like? I'm not trying to walk away from the matter of priorities of those kind of things, merely saying the business of the state needs to get done. And I think the legislature and the governor should do it.
Now, in doing so, what have people around the state been saying? Has that been the most important issue to them that you've heard?
Affordability matters a lot to people, a lot to people. If you own a home, you have hopes at some point of being able to sell your home as part of some retirement, and they want to know they can sell it. Well, guess what? Property taxes are high enough that it does get in the way of sale of homes at prices we thought reasonable. Some people really plan to stay here, and the cost of living matters. Some people want their children or even themselves to have high-value jobs, higher wages. It's really hard to find. Some people are planning a change of career and need the tools to do that. These are really essential, in my opinion, the essential ingredients. We want to get to issues of those who have been in poverty, or children without enough food, or children in homes where opiate addictions or alcohol abuse are a part of, and we're sentencing them to possible underperformance. These are important matters. People do care about them.
And Bruce, what have you been up to today in Brattleboro?
Well, I have to tell you, first, my campaign is fun. I'm having I'm having a blast. If I'd have known it was this much fun running around the state and talking to people, I would have done this another time. Well, I'm having a blast, and so I happen to like Brattleboro, and I like the people, and I like the issues that oftentimes come up here. And I spent a considerable amount of time at Brattleboro Retreat. It's a terrific institution. It employs 900 people. I think more than 600 are full-time. It performs great public service. It is a solution for the mental health crisis that we and other parts of the country face. And I was, as always, very impressed by the talent there. That was fun. And, of course, we had some other meetings leading up to, of course, this all-important meeting with you.
Well, on the campaign trail, will the economy continue to be your focus?
It's not only my focus, it's everyone's focus, including the other gubernatorial campaigners, if you will. The question is, here's the question, will people want specific ideas? I'm offering those kind of things in some detail or as much as they care. Or do we just want to talk about generalities? Or do we just want to talk about what might happen? And so far my experience is people really are interested in knowing specifics about the ideas, as well as, definition of problems. Oftentimes, in Vermont anyway, if you listen, and you listen carefully, Vermonters have a pretty good picture of what their problems or problems they're experiencing, and they have some really good solutions, and I'm taking from them.
Bruce Lisman, thank you so much.
Oh, you're a good guy. Thanks so much for having me.
You're very welcome.